Hey guys, it's Damocles. Obviously, before this video starts, I just want to give a brief rundown of my feelings on the overall patch. In case you didn't feel like sitting through 20 minutes. It's a black screen right now, I get that, but just real quickly, they fixed emergency stance, but I still think it's going to be the best defensive mod in the game. The patch overall is really good for the health of the game. It fixes a lot of bugs. It does not fix inventory wipes. It does not fix, some inventory issues or character restorations or some sign-in screen, infinite sign-in screen bugs, but it does fix a couple of them. And they're working on that as usual. But then there's also some other bugs that were introduced. So, for example, right now on Xbox, a lot of Xbox players can't get in to the game. I am one of them, so that's why I'm not doing current testing. So if any of my stuff that I say in the actual breakdown is off base or anything, don't come at me with pitchforks. I can't actually go in and test to make sure everything is actually working as intended. I'm just going off of what I understand the changes to be. And I also wanted to say that as far as emergency stance is concerned, they fixed it. But if you feel like you're getting one shot right now, it's not because of the emergency stance fix. They did something to armor values where they basically cut everyone's armor value to like a third of what it was. So everybody is getting deleted when they're playing the game right now. And the developers are fully aware of this. They're working on a fix for it, but like don't just assume like you getting one shot is necessarily because emergency stance got fixed. We're going to have to learn to play around emergency stance now, but this is not the reason. So just wait until they fix it and then, air your grievances. Just a couple things finally before I go. They fixed some things with the Borealis set on Technomancer. They fixed some things with boss animations and enemy animations. And what I'm hoping is that when I actually do get to play the game again, that there's going to be better animations for broodmothers, better AI working for those broodmothers and the things that one shot. And other than that, just a lot of bug fixes, a lot of things. A little bit of a buff to minigun builds for Technomancer, but nothing crazy. And I'm gonna have to play another game while I wait for this. So if you guys have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I'm really looking forward to the new My Hero Academia mobile game that's coming out, and Second Extinction, as well as that Scavengers game that everybody's been playing. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll just hop right into the video. So thank you guys for the support, and I hope to be back playing Outriders again soon. What is up, my beautiful people? It's Damocles here, and today we got a huge Outriders patch. It seems to be a really nice quality of life patch. There's also a lot of bugs in it and a lot of bug fixes that are important for you to understand, especially when you go and hop into the game. Right now, one of those bugs is actually preventing me on Xbox from playing the game, so instead of going and doing a bunch of bug testing and streaming it, I'm just going to go and do a patch rundown. So that you guys can all get familiar with some of these changes, and so I can get familiar with them too. So let's just hop into it. And there's a lot of changes, so bear with me here. First off, just straight out the gate, this patch is not restoring anybody's items or anything like that, or inventory, none of that. Okay, they say it at the top, basically just all the different variables, challenge tiers, everything. Its restoration is going to be delayed further. But they wanted to put this out there so that people could still go and benefit from these changes before the restorations are worked on. And also, this is not fixing the can't connect to server issues, which is kind of what I'm getting right now. So a little bit unfortunate on that end. Highlights, basically, I mean, I'm going to go through everything, but the highlights are essentially fix some crashes, fix some bugs. I mean, this is more general stuff, so let's just hop right into it, actually. The index, as you can see, there's a ton of stuff. Most of it applies to all platforms, and then some of them just to PC. Fixed a large number of crashes. Resolved an issue that caused players to get stuck on sign-in screens, so hopefully for some of you guys, that helps you out. General improvements to collision, textures, visibility, grounded various assets. So what I'm hoping is this is going to fix bushes not being able to be shot through, and I hope that it makes it so it's easier to actually see broodmother, like the burning AoE that they drop on the ground, but again, haven't been able to hop in the game yet and test it. I do want to say, just real quick, before we dive into everything, there is a huge bug right now where they accidentally adjusted armor in a bad way, and so everyone is mega squishy and getting one shot. That is not just emergency stance being fixed. That is a totally separate issue. This is, I mean, emergency stance was fixed with this, but there's an entirely separate issue that's causing people to get one shot. So I just wanted to toss that out there in case you only happen to watch, 2 minutes of this. Cruise visibility of crosshair, visibility of tutorial pop-up notifications. Okay, hopefully when they say improve visibility of tutorial pop-up notifications, they mean they don't pop up anymore, because I don't need to be told that poison is helping me out at any point. Side quest icons, that's okay. Crosshair will no longer disappear when looking at allies, kind of pointless. Progression blockers, so maybe if somebody's stuck in the game, that's going to be fixed. Swapping characters could lead to a lost player inventory. That seems important. This looks like the downscaling. So now it's only going to activate when your average gear level is a minimum of 3 levels higher than the enemies that you're facing. So they kind of increased the threshold at which downscaling occurs. Outgoing damage will now be reduced less, so you're going to be doing more damage, and the incoming damage scale is going to feel different, so that you're going to still feel powerful, but you're not going to be able to just instantly destroy everything if you're farming like a CT1. And they fixed a bunch of how low-level weapons and everything works with that. Consoles, UI scaling they added. PlayStation reduced sensitivity of touchpad swipe. I'm guessing that was messing some people up. Other than that, overall code optimizations, nothing too crazy there. Multiplayer resolutions and changes that apply to all platforms. Default matchmaking set to closed. I think that's a good idea. A lot of people hopping into AFK lobbies. So that's a good thing. Oops, sorry. Let me just go ahead and mute my phone like a friggin' professional. Okay. Actually, let me turn off the vibration too. Okay. Fix a bug that could prevent clients from joining the host. Okay, hopefully that's fixing that whole issue when we were doing carries and people weren't able to join up on me. Performance issues in co-op. Everybody knows co-op's like a real buggy mess with bad connection issues. That's basically all what most of these are talking about. Let's see if there's anything specifically. Host can't select story points if they hadn't unlocked it. That's okay. Nothing too crazy here. Player completed storyline couldn't join expeditions if a story point before the endgame had been selected. That's no big deal. Characters might not spawn when retrying expeditions. I think this is a problem where a lot of people were running into during expeditions, where essentially they were logging in and there were no enemies or anything like that. Again, fixed a bunch of stuff with host migration, joining people. That's pretty much it. No longer visible for clients when joining a host in Quarry. That's not really a big deal. Yeah, none of these really seem to be too big of an issue. This one is obviously fix a bug that could cause the game to lose functionality after signing out of a currently active account or suspending internet connection. So hopefully that helps some of the Xbox players. And again, these are all kind of just general connection issues. This is the stuff that really matters. I shouldn't say really matters. If your game is bricked because they couldn't do anything, then now that's great for you. But crafting, cost of improving rare to epic from levels 1 to 30 has been lowered. So that's going to make it a lot easier to obviously improve your items earlier in the game. So that's good. I actually have a video about that coming out soon, so go check that out. Fix a bug where skill damage improvement mod on gear with a higher level than the player would actually reduce damage when used at lower world tiers. So that's another downscaling thing, but again, it's world tiers, so not really too big of a deal. Fix a bug that caused the UI display 0 in the preview when upgrading Hell's Rangers weapons. No idea what that's referring to. Trickster. Fixed a bug that caused Trickster's Hunt the Prey skill to not teleport. That was a big one. We were talking about that a while ago, especially in the Trickster build, so that's going to be huge for Trickster players. That's a big quality of life boost. There's all instances where Hunt the Prey could be used to teleport to unintended locations. A couple people were falling off the map. Trickster's Venator's Knife marked to vanish after casting Hunt the Prey on a marked enemy. Don't know what that one was, but it's good that it's getting fixed. Whereby Move Groot's mod anomaly power and firepower buff to not correctly appear on the HUD. That's weird if it's only a Trickster thing. Pyro, my baby. Fix a bug that was preventing Pyro Feed the Flame from applying Ash status effect to Screechers. Okay, well that's going to help out with those stupid birds at least. I don't really recall that happening to me at any point, but it's a good thing to have nonetheless. Fix a bug where Phoenix Nestling occasionally granted the player incorrect HP in multiplayer. Now grants correct 50% HP. Weird. I wonder if it was doing more healing or less healing. Maybe, probably less. Fix a bug is causing Pyro to exit cover after using Thermal Bomb. That's a nice one. That definitely happened all the time, but I just assumed it was part of the kit. I never used cover anyway. Fix a bug that caused Pyro boots the Lava Lich legendary gear and not include the appropriate mods. Nobody uses that anyway, so who cares? Fix a bug that caused Perseverance Shield mod damage reduction buff to not correctly end after Golem effect wore off. I think this is a typo. This has to just be a fix on the Golem mod as a whole, right? Like, Perseverance Shield was also double dipping on Golem? Or is this a totally separate thing? This seems like it's just specific to Devastator, but that's weird because obviously it's not. Well, we can check. Oh, actually, no. Okay, so this is a totally separate thing. I guess Perseverance Shield was double dipping for dev players. Good for you guys. Extra Quake mod sometimes provide more than one skill activation at the end of fights. Okay, well that's a nerf, I guess. Fix a bug that caused lurkers affected by Endless Mast skill to reappear on top of the player if you walked under them. That's weird. I don't see any signs of that Endless Mast bug that's one-shotting Brood Mothers at all. Fix a crash that could occur if you boulder dash into a wall. I could see how that would be a problem, right? Fix instances of Gravity Leap, causing players to get stuck in unintended places. This is a huge... I don't know if I could call it a buff, but that's a huge boon to Devastator players everywhere. Boulder dash clipping through walls and improve the VFX of reflect bullets to make it more visible on PlayStation. Weird. Techno. The minigun mod Massacre, which was changed in previous patches, had its duration reverted to its original value, but now only stack up to 6 times. So for those of you that don't know, Massacre was basically making it so you could stack up like an infinite amount of anomaly power while running Technomancer, and because of another anomaly power bug, or because of another bug with Techno, you could basically just like hold minigun up the whole match and then like have infinite scaling damage by the end of the expedition. They nerfed it previous patch, but they kind of went a little bit too far to make it where like Massacre is barely even useful anymore. I think it was originally nerfed to like be like 3 seconds or something. Is it going to make minigun builds viable? Not. They're still not going to touch Blighted Rounds builds, but it definitely helps. Fix a bug whereby Toxic Lead armor mod was not triggering properly if a player was killed. If an enemy was killed via skill. So that's good. That's a good buff. Basically, Toxic Lead, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure if you're playing Techno, you do know, but Toxic Lead makes it so whenever you get a kill on an enemy that is affected by Toxic, it refunds you, what is it, 40% of your ammo, I believe? Yeah, 40%. So now, if you go and you apply Toxic to something and you kill it via skill, this is a big boost for skill builds. I think that this will make it so so the minigun build will actually be able to go and have infinite ammo via Toxic Lead now. I could be wrong. I'll have to test it. I wish I could, but I just can't get into the game right now. Fix a bug where Technomancer would be stuck on their main weapon if they use Tool of Destruction and Pain Launch at the same time. Okay. Fixed a bug where Tool of Destruction where melee was prevented. The skill was interrupted by using the mouse wheel. Can't relate. Fix a bug whereby Perpetual Mobile Weapon mod was also replenishing Tool of Destruction minigun ammo. Well, that is... so that's a nerf to Tools of Destruction builds, right? Because it's obviously reducing the ease of use of getting infinite ammo. But I'm thinking that this bug fix up here, it's basically just swapping the two. So you'd run Toxic Lead instead of Perpetuum Mobile. I think this is what it will fix. Otherwise, if this doesn't apply to... I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. I'm just thinking if this doesn't apply to minigun, then it's kind of not that great, because if you're not running a skill build, then you don't really care about infinite ammo, right? Or if you're running a skill build, then why would you care about infinite ammo? Fix a bug turrets placed on vertical surfaces. I don't think that matters. AI to ignore Technomancers if a turret had been spawned before the AI spawned. Oh, that's a bummer. This was kind of like a nice thing. Like sometimes if you threw out a turret, like a blighted turret or something, everything would aggro to it instead of aggroing to the player. I thought it was kind of intended like as a little aggro source, but they nerfed that. But now, well, is it a nerf though? Because it means your turrets stay up for longer. I don't know. Xbox turrets correctly display health bars. That makes sense. Skills can now be properly cast. Ooh, fixed set description of Borealis Monarch set. So, from what I've seen so far, beforehand, right, it was on, you would get a flat 10% weapon damage increase to frozen targets, and then you were supposed to go, and whenever you use Cold Snap, you would get a 90% crit damage increase. And everyone's saying it was bugged and it wasn't working properly, and you were only getting 10% crit damage increase. The new description, from what I understand, is that you get a 90% weapon damage bonus to frozen targets unconditionally. And then if you use Cold Snap, then everybody gets a 10% crit damage bonus. I'm actually kind of excited to go and try this build out now. I kind of want to make like an absolute zero frozen damage techno build because a 90% weapon damage increase is a lot. And I think that could be really cool. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I think I've deleted a bunch of my Borealis Monarch stuff because all legendaries are trash on Techno. So I might have to go and farm for that. Skills can now be properly cast when using the targeting feature after changing the key binding. Improve the visual indicator for throwables. It doesn't really matter. What they need to do is change the animation for throwables, make it actually usable. Gear and mods fix a bug that was causing certain mods to not properly trigger their on-shot, on-crit effects if said shot was a killing shot. What I hope this means, I'm hoping it would be real nice if, like, you know, for Toxic Lead right now, for example, you need to have the enemy afflicted by Toxic before you get the refunded ammo. I'm hoping that if you go and you one-shot something with Toxic rounds, it will still refund the ammo. I'm hoping that is taken care of in this fix, not just random things not working with on-shot or on-critical shot effects. But we'll have to see about that. Fix a bug that caused emergency stance mod damage reduction buff to not correctly end. We all knew this was coming. I still think that emergency stance is going to be the best defensive mod in the game to use. So until I test it, all those budget builds, everything should still be working totally fine. Right now, as I said at the beginning of the video, the squishiness everyone's feeling is because of something that the developers screwed up on their back end, where everyone's armor basically got cut in half. And so if you're getting one shot right now, I mean, you're going to have to adjust to emergency stance not being up all the time. But right now, the actual reason why people are getting one shot is not because of this. Not only search tier 1 mod to proc, not as expected. That doesn't really matter. Fix a bug called legendary set bonus does not show correct items being active in the armor details. That's kind of a minimal thing. Fix a bug that caused bright lights to appear on screen using Storm Whip. That was annoying, but not a big deal. And this is just achievement fixes, visual fixes. That doesn't really matter. Now, this is going to matter a lot. Okay, let's see. AI snipers now give players more time to dodge their shots. Boom. I talk about this all the time, guys. I think they probably added a cooldown to the snipers now so that you don't just get, like, plunked right out of cover. That'll be real nice. Reduce the amount of knockback from creatures in Stargrave. I never really noticed it specifically in Stargrave, and I think a lot of people just don't use their melees to, you know, get around knockbacks, but this is a welcome addition. I'm really hoping that... but I guess that, what is that? That third room of Stargrave does have a ton of stuff coming at you at once. Regardless, I hope this applies to all different knockbacks, not just the Stargrave one. Mol Nakari, I really don't care too much about this. It's a boss that nobody should be fighting anymore. But it looks like they just nerfed some parts of the boss's attack and then nerfed some cheeky stuff people could do to it. They fixed a thing where Crystalloid does not progress if the player kills the boss during a black screen, yada yada yada. Yagak fixed a bug that could give Devastators unlimited healing when using Impale skill during his fight. Fixed a bug that causes tentacle ability to damage players before it actually landed. And then I have no idea why this matters, but fixed a bug that prevented Broodmother from dealing damage to the player with a melee attack while standing on an elevated platform. Okay, on the left side of the encounter. Like, what is this? I don't understand this. Why is it here? Doesn't matter. Fixed a bug whereby the crawler ranged attack was damaging players beyond the attack range. So the crawler is those weird, weird looking graboid lizard things that shoot out the laser beam, the disintegration beam, and then they also do that channeled ability that would just like 3 shots you. It's really annoying. So that's a nice fix. Strix are now better able to cope with players staying too close to a wall. I mean, if that's a bug fix to buff Strix, then they can take a walk with that one. Fixes to AI, including Berserker pathing optimization, skill usage, as well as reacting to properly attacking players. We'll see how this goes. This might be miserable. This might be good. Berserker, I'm assuming they're just referring to when an enemy goes blue into that resistance phase. I believe that's what they're referring to as Berserk, and it's probably just gonna fix their pathing. I'm hoping that they're not making it more difficult for us. I'm hoping that this is like them toning down some of the bullshit, like things just attacking you relentlessly without, counterplay, anything like that. Health bars for enemy sealers and anomaly rips are correctly hidden if enemy health bar mode is set to hide in options. Don't care about that. Animations for enemies have been fixed in certain scenarios, particularly when in cover and recovering from knockdowns. I'm hoping any of these animation fixes are for some of the nonsense ones that just one-shot you from brood mothers. VFX for weightlessness mod, that doesn't matter to me. Cause the game to become unresponsive when interacting with NPCs. Whatever. Enemy spawn in the first area of Ken Plant. That would cause a crash. Rare bug where players wouldn't be able to sell items. Cursor would turn invisible. The Hades tent would disappear. T-posing, that doesn't matter. Fix a bug that caused stash to lock. Fix a bug that prevented... Nah, that doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Maybe this is like some of those weird like pathing issues with the map. But overall, none of these really matter. They're just kind of story point things. These are just audio and sound effects. I don't really care too much about those. Although I wish they had something that made it... Did they say anything about the map making it a horrible noise? No, it's probably in there though. Added protection when claiming items from inbox when the stash and inventory are full. Maybe that's going to prevent you from accidentally deleting shit. Co-op exploit where multiple legendary rewards could be obtained from Historian Bounty. Monster quest lines has been fixed. I thought that was already fixed. Claiming world tier 10 weapon reward doesn't matter. HUD to disappear doesn't matter. Frame rate of video clips, who cares? Text corrections, that doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, none of those matter. Okay. And then this is PC only stuff. Basically just increase field of view options. Makes it so that you don't have like 19 million gigabyte crash dump folders. Allowed rebinding of more keys. Makes it so those keys don't screw up menus and everything. It's making it so you don't get locked to 60 FPS. A lot of people were reporting that. Added support for Steam controller. Improvements to FPS. I mean, so much of these are just like little bug fixes for, for PC optimization. But that pretty much covers the entire patch notes. Does Dev say anything specifically? Let's see. I'm guessing he's super squishy after the patch. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. They know that there's some kind of bug causing everybody to be super squishy, and they're working on it. And they said the patch is imminent. I have no idea when it is imminent, what their definition of imminent is. I thought imminent was the item restoration thing, but I guess not. Oops, I guess I didn't scroll enough there, but you guys get the idea. It's right there. So, those are the patch notes, guys. Hopefully I can get in and start testing. As always, if you found this useful or if you think I should chunk it down in the future, please let me know. This was a really massive patch. But, hey, thanks, Gussum, for the sub. But, come follow me on Twitch. We just got affiliate on our way to partner, hopefully, and come sub on YouTube if you like these breakdowns. Have a good one. Damocles out.